Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As I showed in my previous video, I talked about information literacy. Now I'm here with the sources of information. Today I'm going to talk about the sources of information, the different sources of information. So in my introduction, you see there are various sources of information are employed. Various sources of information are employed by researchers, philosophers, and thinkers. However, here we'll discuss two sources of information. We have primary sources of information and secondary sources of information. So, now in my next video, I have what is information. Before even talking about the sources, I've already told you the types, but what is information? Information refers to processed data. Yes, information refers to processed data. Data in reference to information literacy are a special type of information generally obtained through observation, surveys, and many others. Data in reference to information. It is processed data. So it so says. Now the sources of information, we have primary and secondary sources as you see there. So now I'm going to talk about primary sources of information. Primary sources of information, my definition is primary sources of information are original materials or first-hand accounts created at the time when an incident occurred or when a topic or phenomenon is being studied. They are original, first-hand. They are created at that time when an incident occurred. Do you know? Yeah, that's it. So, my primary sources, my examples, we have letters, diaries, eyewitnesses, government documents, historical records, photographs, minutes, and very many others. Uses and advantages of primary data. Uses and advantages of primary data. They increase authenticity of data. Authenticity of data. Like you get data. Like data is real. You have gotten it from the source. From the source. Enhance the reliability of data. Just know you can rely on that data. Why? Why don't you rely on that data? You have to, because it is a primary. It is got from first hand, first source, the time when an event took place. So you should rely on it. Hidden information can be collected. Hidden information can be collected. Remember, it is first data you got. So hidden information can be collected. Since you got it from the person, it was first hand at the time of the event. After analyzing, it can be used as a secondary data. Yes, after analyzing it, you remember sometimes those people who make primary data, primary information, most of them can even die. Like historically, they died, but now they have written books for us, our generation, to gain the good, and that is second, to gain the information, and that is secondary data. You are getting it. So now we have gone on the disadvantages of primary data. Disadvantages of primary information can be biased. How? It can be biased because it is from one person and it has not been researched about. And for secondary, they research, you first research, analyze, review to make the information. It requires field work. Yes, you have to go to the field and get the and the information. You have to go to the field, and sometimes the field, those ways to do field work in senior 4th year. You go, you get first-hand information. It's not easy, rain, very sunshine, very many things. Expense and time consuming. You remember, you have to go and get the work by yourself. It will be expensive transport, your time to travel, everything. So now that has been my primary sources of information, and I've told you about my primary sources of information. Thank you for listening. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about the secondary sources of information in details as I did for the primary sources. I think you have gotten. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you for listening.